Hello, this note is titled Master Key to Factoring. It's an overview of what we do when we have to factor anything. So when we factor something, we are usually asked to write it as a multiplication. That's what factoring means, is to write as a multiplication. And then we have a few things that we consider when we look at the expression. The first thing is we ask ourselves, is the question written in descending order of exponents? Descending means going from top to bottom. So this example is not written in descending order. The highest power is 3, then the square, then the x. So before we do anything, we should rearrange this so that the 9x cubed is first, then 6x squared, then 3x. Once we have it written correctly in the descending order, then the next thing is we take out everything that is in common. So we look for the most that the expression has in common, and we would factor it out. In our example number 1, that would be 3x. We can take out 3x from each term. So here is another example. It has x squared and some numbers. Once we have done that, that's a cleanup. Now the question that we have is ready for the next step. And the next step is we'll look and see what we have. We see how many terms are still left. And there is only 3 possibilities. So the first possibility is, let's zoom out a little bit. There's only 3 choices. The first choice is there could be only 2 terms. And for the 2 terms, there are special formulas that we use to factor. Those formulas are, here they are. They are the difference of squares, that's what it factors to. The difference of cubes, that's what it factors to. The difference means minus, cubes means the powers are cubes. Difference is minus, squares. So we're subtracting squares, we're subtracting cubes. And then the last choice is we add in cubes. Sum means add, so we add in cubes. The SOAP, SOAP, that's a hint for to remember how the signs go. The S stands for the same, so it's the same sign as the original question. The O stands for the opposite of the original. And the last is always positive. So here down below is the SOAP written out again. S stands for the same, O for the opposite, AP always positive, and it works for remembering the signs for the difference of cubes and the sum of cubes. Both are the same. Here are some examples we can consider for practice as we look into doing it in a different note. Right now this is just an overview. Next, if it's not 2 terms, then the other possibility is we could have 3 terms. And for the 3 terms, the method that works all the time is AC method. AC method works whether the front number is 1 or not 1. But if it is equal to 1, then there is a shortcut that is faster than AC method. And this is what the shortcut is. We look for the factors of the C, so we look for the 2 numbers that multiply to the C, to the last, and they also have to add to the middle, to the B. And that would be our numbers that we would use for factoring. We can look at how this works on these 2 examples, and we will do it in a different note. And if A happens to not be 1, then we use AC. And AC is a shorthand. It's a reminder of what the first step is. The first step is to multiply A times C, because the question we have is a trinomial. 3 terms means trinomial, and the coefficients are A, B, C. Once we write it in descending order, the highest power is 2, the last is without the power. That means A will always be first, C will always be last, B will always be in the middle. So AC tells us that the first step is to multiply A with a C. And that gives us a number. And then we also will look at breaking up that number into factors so that the 2 factors will multiply to AC and will add to the B. But instead of being the roots, we use those numbers to break up the middle into 2 parts. So instead of having 3 terms that we started with, we now have 4 terms. And that's no longer fits in our category for 3 terms. It goes into the next category. The next category is more than 3 terms. and there is only one method, and that method is grouping. So the end result of the AC method is we get 4 terms, which means we now finish it using the grouping method, and we will show this on this example. This is an overview of the factoring and what we usually have to do. And in a different video, we will go through this template and we will discuss each one of these examples and how to do it. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know. Thank you for your time. Take care.